Okay, this chapter is kind of an interesting one. It's on developing professional telephone skills. Pretty much just about everybody in America has a telephone in their pocket, but primarily we use those for personal communications. And there's a distinct difference between the two, primarily because when you call somebody, you're usually calling somebody that you know. Their caller ID comes up, their picture comes up. You don't even read their name anymore. You just see the picture and you're like, hey, it's mom, it's dad, it's boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. I mean, it's somebody that you know, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, something like that. And so most of the time, you say hello, you're like, you just start right into your conversation. It may have been prefaced with a text or something like that. So it's a very informal way of communicating. When you go into business, that is not the case. There are some expectations that businesses have and should have. And unfortunately, a lot of those expectations have waned over the years. And I can't even really say that you should just call around to businesses and see how they conduct themselves. Because at least in my opinion, they don't necessarily conduct themselves well. I think one of the worst atrocities that happen to professional businesses is a computer that answers your telephone for you. And if you've ever, and even our own college here, and most colleges, actually all colleges are guilty of it, you call in and what do you get? You get a menu option. So you have to press 1 to get here, 2 to get there. You have to listen to all these menu options. And ultimately it takes you a couple minutes. You're very impatient. There's a level of anxiety. And then oftentimes when you get to the phone extension for the person that you want to reach, what do you get? A voicemail. And then you have to leave a message. And unfortunately, oftentimes that voicemail goes unanswered, which adds a level also of anxiety. So if it were my option and I had a business today, I would have a person answering that telephone who would immediately answer your question or get you to a person who would answer your question. Because the reality of the situation is, if you don't take care of that customer when they call in, they're going to hang up and they're going to keep calling until they find somebody who answers their question. And that is the person that is more than likely going to end up with their business. And once they're being taken care of by somebody else, they're probably not going to come back to you. So that is, you're losing out on those opportunities to take care of them. So understanding those basic expectations of a caller is really, really important. If you answer the phone on a call, there's a few things the customer is going to want to know. They're going to want to know what company they have called and who they are speaking with. And it's probably nice to say something like, how can I help you? It gets some of the basics out of the way. Because think about it, if you called a company and somebody said, hello, the very first question out of your mouth as a customer or a caller would be, hey, have I called ABC Automotive? Yeah. Oh, okay, great. The next thing they're going to ask is who they're talking to. So be pleasant about those. One of the one physiological things you have to understand about the human body is that our facial expressions and our body posturing will have an effect on the tone in our voice. So when you answer a phone call, smile. Because, not that it's impossible, but it is difficult for you to be angry and with a voice tonation while smiling. I have seen some people do it, but usually your body doesn't work that way. So if you smile when you answer the phone, you're probably going to have a pleasant tone. And if you're answering the phone calls hundreds of times per day, it is very easy to start answering and spitting out that information quicker and quicker and quicker and mumbling. Understand that even though your environment may be hectic, the person on the other end just may be kicking back on their patio. And if you come at them real aggressively and loudly and violently and quickly, it may be a little off-putting. So take that opportunity to breathe for a second, smile, and answer the phone clearly, articulately, and very pleasant. And you'll probably end up with a much better reaction and ultimately might end up with a customer out of it. Direct calls accurately and politely. When a customer calls in, you're extremely busy. Do not tell your customer you're going to put them on hold. Ask. Which seems simple, but it is an important factor. They call in and you answer the phone. Hi, this is Lee from ABC Automotive. How can I help you? They're going to say, oh, well, I really need a quote on a water pump. You go, okay, not a problem. Tell you what, I have a couple of other customers that I'm working with right now. I have a couple options for you. I put you on hold, and frankly, right now, with the amount of work that I have, it may be a little bit of a long hold, or I can take down your name and your number and I can call you back. Give them the option. Sometimes they'll say, sure, not a problem, call me back, because you've created confidence in the fact that you're going to actually do that. And then, of course, don't forget to do that. And the other is, sometimes they're like, you know what, I really have not a whole lot going on. I'm just driving down the road. I'll just put you on speaker, and I'll just go ahead and hold, and then reiterate to them, okay, it may be as long as 10 minutes, and I don't want you to think I'm not forgetting about you. I just have some other customers that were here ahead of you. Give them the option. But don't just say, please hold. That's just kind of rude. Convey a positive impression about yourself and your company. And then also in this chapter is managing a high volume of calls and messages, and knowing how to handle difficult calls. Customers that are angry on the phone. It's just basic conflict resolution as it applies to working on a telephone call. So, hope you enjoy it. It's a pretty short chapter, but there's some